On January 20th, 2025, the world watched in astonishment as former President Donald Trump signed an executive order. This wasn't just any order. This order, declared Trump, would make America great again in a whole new way. He was renaming the Gulf of Mexico. From that day forward, it would be known as the Gulf of America. The announcement, delivered with Trump's signature flair for the dramatic, sent shockwaves across the globe. News channels buzzed with the news. Social media erupted in a frenzy of hashtags and heated debates. The Gulf of Mexico, a body of water shared by the United States, Mexico, and Cuba, was suddenly at the center of a geopolitical storm. Trump, speaking from the Oval Office, justified his decision with characteristic bravado. The Gulf of America, he proclaimed, rightfully belongs to America. It's time we took control of what is ours and put America first. The order, Trump insisted, was about more than just a name. It was about asserting American dominance, securing vital resources, and restoring America's position on the world stage. But was this a stroke of genius or a reckless act of provocation? The world held its breath, waiting to see how this bold move would play out. The reaction to Trump's proclamation was swift and furious. Across the globe, people took to the streets, their voices echoing a collective outrage that transcended borders and languages. Mexico and Cuba, the two countries most directly affected by the renaming, condemned the move as a violation of their sovereignty and an affront to international law. Their leaders were quick to organize press conferences, making their stance clear to the world. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum Pardo, speaking at a press conference, denounced Trump's actions as a dangerous provocation and a blatant disregard for international norms. She emphasized the potential risks this move posed to regional peace and stability. She vowed to fight the renaming through all diplomatic and legal channels, promising to rally international support against what she termed an unjust and reckless decision. Cuba, too, was quick to express its outrage. The Cuban government wasted no time in making its position known, with officials addressing the media and the public. The Cuban Foreign Ministry issued a statement calling the renaming illegal, illegitimate, and without any effect whatsoever. They stressed that such actions would not be recognized by the international community. The statement went on to accuse the United States of imperialist ambitions and warned of serious consequences for regional stability. The Cuban people, already familiar with the weight of geopolitical tensions, took to the streets in protest. The international community too voiced its disapproval. News outlets around the world covered the unfolding drama, with analysts and commentators weighing in on the potential fallout. The United Nations Security Council held an emergency meeting to discuss the situation, with many members expressing concern over the potential for escalation and instability. The debate was intense, reflecting the gravity of the situation. The European Union issued a statement calling on the United States to reconsider its decision and engage in dialogue with the affected countries. They urged for a peaceful resolution through diplomatic means. Even within the United States, the reaction was far from universally positive. The nation found itself divided, with protests erupting in various cities and heated debates taking place in the media. While Trump's core supporters cheered the move as a sign of American strength, many others, including legal experts, diplomats, and environmental activists, expressed alarm at the potential consequences of such a unilateral and provocative action. The nation watched closely, aware that the world was watching too. Trump's attempt to claim the Gulf of Mexico as uniquely American territory was not without historical precedent. This move, controversial as it was, tapped into a deep well of historical actions and ideologies that have shaped American foreign policy for centuries. In fact, it echoed a long and often troubled history of American expansionism, particularly in its dealings with Mexico. The United States has a storied past of territorial ambitions, often at the expense of its neighbors. The most glaring example of this history is the Mexican-American War, which raged from 1846 to 1848. This conflict was a pivotal moment in the history of both nations, fundamentally altering their futures. Fueled by the ideology of manifest destiny, the belief that the United States had a God-given right to expand its territory westward, the war saw the United States seize vast swaths of land from Mexico, including present-day California, Nevada, Utah, and parts of Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and Wyoming. This expansion was seen as both a divine right and a national duty. The war, while a military victory for the United States, left a bitter legacy of resentment and distrust between the two countries. The treaties that followed did little to heal the wounds inflicted by the conflict. It also set the stage for future conflicts and tensions, including border disputes, economic competition, and struggles over immigration. These issues have continued to shape the relationship between the United States and Mexico to this day. Trump's renaming of the Gulf of Mexico, whether intended or not, evoked this fraught history. It was a reminder of the past and a signal of potential future conflicts. It raised the specter of American expansionism and fueled fears that the United States was once again seeking to impose its will on its southern neighbor. This move was seen by many as a provocative act. This historical context, laden with memories of past injustices and present-day anxieties, cast a long shadow over Trump's actions. The echoes of history were unmistakable and deeply felt. It served as a stark reminder of the potential for even seemingly symbolic acts to ignite real-world consequences. The past is never truly past, and its reverberations continue to shape our present and future. Beyond the geopolitical implications, Trump's renaming of the Gulf of Mexico also raised significant economic and environmental concerns. This move was not just a matter of semantics. It had the potential to alter the dynamics of international relations and economic dependencies in the region. The Gulf, a vital body of water, plays a crucial role in the economies and ecosystems of all three countries that border it. Its waters are a lifeline for industries ranging from energy to fishing, and its health is directly tied to the well-being of millions of people. For the United States, the Gulf of Mexico is a major source of oil and natural gas. The energy extracted from its depths powers homes, businesses, and industries across the nation, making it a cornerstone of American energy independence. The region is home to numerous offshore drilling platforms, and the energy industry employs thousands of people in coastal states like Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. These jobs are not just numbers. They represent livelihoods and communities built around the Gulf's resources. The Gulf is also a vital shipping route, connecting the United States to markets in Latin America, Europe, and beyond. Its ports handle a significant portion of the nation's imports and exports, making it a critical artery for global trade. Mexico, too, relies heavily on the Gulf of Mexico for its economic well-being. The waters provide not only resources but also opportunities for trade and tourism that are essential to the country's economy. The country's fishing industry, a major source of jobs and food security, is concentrated in the Gulf. The fish and seafood harvested here feed millions and support a vibrant market that extends well beyond Mexico's borders. Mexican ports along the Gulf Coast are also important hubs for trade and tourism. These ports facilitate the movement of goods and people, contributing to the economic dynamism of the region. Cuba, while less economically dependent on the Gulf than the United States or Mexico, still derives significant benefits from its resources. The Gulf's waters support local industries and provide a gateway for international trade. The country's fishing industry operates in the Gulf, and Cuban ports handle a portion of the region's shipping traffic. These activities are vital for Cuba's economy, providing jobs and supporting local communities. The Gulf of Mexico is not just an economic powerhouse, it's also a delicate ecosystem. Its waters teem with life, from the smallest plankton to the largest marine mammals, creating a complex web of biodiversity. Its warm waters are home to a diverse array of marine life, including fish, shellfish, sea turtles, and marine mammals. This biodiversity is not only beautiful, but also essential for the ecological balance of the region. The Gulf's coastal wetlands provide critical habitat for birds, reptiles, and amphibians. These wetlands act as nurseries for many species, and serve as natural buffers against storms and erosion. Trump's attempt to claim the Gulf as exclusively American territory threatened to disrupt this delicate balance. Such a move could have far-reaching consequences, not just politically but also economically and environmentally. His focus on American economic interests, often at the expense of environmental concerns, raised fears that his policies could lead to increased pollution, habitat destruction, and overfishing in the Gulf. The stakes are high, and the need for a balanced approach that considers both economic and environmental factors is more critical than ever.